it's industry or whatever you're manufacturing, the end product is aimed at helping a human being somewhere solve a problem. So there is the space for people who work with communities and understand the community dynamics. It cannot be erased. And number one, I have, just thinking about it, number one is the market. Whatever you're producing, Dina is telling us about AI, but there is still a human aspect. AI is aiding you as a human being, okay? There is a short video trending around for a restaurant in Nairobi that is having robots. Is it true? See, sorry, oh, nice. So, if you think about that as an AI tool, first of all, I know Kenyans are going there not because they love the restaurant so much, but to see and to see this innovation. And of course, there is that question of where will our waiters get jobs and all that. But just to agree with Lina, you have to run with the way the world is running. So Kelvin, the space for community workers and the people who deal with the communities and understanding the community dynamics, we can never run away from that space. Why? Because whatever innovation we are bringing, we want to solve human problems. Okay? And then number two, these industries will be in a community setup. You're not setting them up somewhere in the space. Either it is an industrial, even if it's an industrial, there are people living around there, okay? So you cannot run away from even telling people, you know what to Kibabi, we want to open up a company here that will do this and this and that. That's an industry you're setting up. You cannot come without consulting the locals. Forget it. And you even start with the local chief, the one that you pass with your big car. You must come back to that local leader, the Wazee initiative. You will find yourself even being invited in chamas, our mama. You try talk to them to buy your idea of your big industry that you want to set up. And that is the way to success. Start here and then the process will rise. The other aspect about community work is the environmental bit. It's an industry. It is going to have some impact on the environment. You need help, okay? You need people to work with. You must bring in the local community and tell them the implication it will have with this company, with the environment in your area. Okay, so Kevin, please add a social worker in your co-founder in your project. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Professor Jana asked about the existing different university funding models. How can students start up leverage on the existing funding models that exist in schools?
I tend to think that we all know the new funding model is shrouded now in dispute, where every university, the capitation is not enough to run the university. The parents and the guardians have to dig deep into their pockets to make sure that the children of their sons and daughters obtain quality education. That is quite a total about that. One of the things that I would want to ask, and maybe I ask myself, is if something is working, why change it? The health thing was working. Then now it was changed. Now we have to exist with the reality. Now, several universities, university leaders are now considering PPP in funding education, where we have private partners brought in structurally through a very well thought out framework to support education. This also presents opportunity for students and parents to find out how best, at what point of the education chain, funding chain, they should be involved in. Their entrepreneurial opportunity, what entrepreneurial opportunities present themselves. I want to suggest just quite a few. Most universities do not have enough hostels to accommodate the students. Their parents, their well-wishers, their entrepreneurs, their investors who work with the university to put extra hostels around the university where the children, where students can get accommodation and then they share that kind of profit that comes. Two, the food that is provided, you realize that in a university, at least in most public universities, students like going out to get food so that they can cook for themselves. They discover in there that if students got some capital through partnership, setting a small restaurant somewhere, some small food to ensure that you solve that problem is indeed an opportunity. We, however, I must add, hope that the present regime will see it fit to ensure that each and every student gets an equal opportunity at education. That is the only way we are going to defeat poverty, we are going to defeat underdevelopment. If you allow me to extend a little about two questions were asked in front, one of which was ably answered about AI that is going to render people jobless, and whether people who use AI in research are cheating or that they should use it. I sit in a committee in the Institutional Scientific Contribution Center, where your students present proposals generated by AI. I would want to point out that the product of your education is not the documents that you present for a plan. You are the product of your education. So if you can't add 1+1, not even a restaurant will employ you. They will rather go for the AI tool instead of it. Again, the guy who asked about you start a business idea, you succeed, then you forget the bigger idea. I have this to say, just two statements. One is the greatest enemy of success is previous success. If you are sitting on your laurels that you might have done this, you're not going to move from there. So make sure you don't just focus on what is already gone. The last statement, which is now very common, is that if your dreams are not big enough, do not scare you, they're not big enough. So what are we saying? We're saying that when you get to step 1, aim for step 2, and continue like that. I hope those questions are answered. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we wind up, the last question from Obed, I'd like Faith Nafula to address it because she's also a CEO of a startup. How can universities support startups in the technical fields like startups in tech?
It's an interesting question. Speaking from my experience, I'll say it as it is. Of course, experiences are different. Everyone has their own journey to walk, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Everyone has their own path. For my experience, how I got into entrepreneurship was not really on the basis that I have done renewable energy. It was more of I was employed, I was doing very well. I think I was the best because there were results. However, I did not find the fulfillment of things being done right. And so I just wanted to do it a bit different. So I will not really base my answer on how universities can support. However, I will base it on my journey, where what I did is I had a mentor. He's actually here, Dr. Saoke. So he has been with me throughout the whole journey. So not the university, but a mentor that I found from the university. So after school, worked under him, I was guided throughout the journey from employment and the transition to entrepreneurship. Up to date, I handle a lot, but I'll still come and tell him I've lost this money, this employee is doing this. What do I do? I'll just give you one advice: get a mentor, and not base it on university really. Yeah,
Thank you. It's good to hear from a co-founder's perspective. I'd like to have Professor Shen jump in on the same question: how universities can support founders who are dealing with tech startups.
Thank you very much. That question is heavily answered. I would only want to note that in most technical areas of the university, there is always a disconnect between research and industry. There is a huge gap between theory and practice. What can the university do to bridge this gap? One, the university should get in partnership with industry owners that participate in that area. For instance, if it is engineering, why can't the university have a relationship, working relationship with, let's say, KUGLi, Kenya Institute of Research and Development, to make students have a feel of the work that is ahead of them. Now, if the industry is working in silos and the university is working in silos, that is when people go to work, they first have to be given a probation period of 6 months because they are not job ready. So if the university brings in different practitioners, whether it's in health, agriculture, to interact with students, which is also mentorship, that gap can be sealed. Thank you.
Thank you. You can also add.
What has been said is actually true. I was in a event some few weeks ago, and the conversation was about bringing entrepreneurs on board in terms of how best they can work. And one of the panelists there was a lady in the Organization of Labor globally, and she shared that partly the greatest challenge that is there is that universities are channeling out people with documents, but people who are not labor ready, they're not job market ready. So the advice was exactly as it has been shared.
as you're doing your coursework, align yourself to know what that particular field of expertise needs for you to actually be propelled in that field. So do not, I'll use communication because that's my background. If you are doing a communication journalism bachelor's degree, do not wait until you are an intern at KTN, NTV, or blah, 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 before you actually have the technical skill of going through a camera and knowing how it operates, using a microphone and finding out its basics, writing articles and knowing that these articles right now, what is big right now in communication, climate, agriculture. Like if you don't know what is propelling your industry, even as you're in class, you will not be job market ready as you graduate. So we need to bridge that gap, understand what the labor market needs when it comes to what you are pursuing as you're in the university. Otherwise, there will be that disconnect occurring and reoccurring.
A round of applause to our distinguished panelists and our well-produced audience. I'd like to also let you know they're still here around today. If you have more questions, feel free to interact with them. And as great students, I know you'll be taking their phone numbers and emails. They've been talking a lot about mentorship. They're the mentors here because they've learned, they've done some mistakes, improved on them. So I know they'll be very free to share their emails with you. I'd now like to ask, to request Dr. Anthony to come back on stage and take us through the rest of the program. Thank you.
Jamani, tuwapigie makofi mazuri mazito. Thank you so much. And just like we have been encouraged by our brother Nyakundi, this is a wealth of well-organized knowledge. So take time and interact with them, speak with them, and just find out what the future holds together. I'm so sure by now our pitches are ready. In our other language, we say watu waliiva kitambo na sasa wameanza kuugua. So we have employed the success of firefighters. Ukisikia kuna kuugua sana, we have firefighting mechanisms. As we let our pitches getting ready for their session, allow me to welcome Engineer KUGLi, who will give us a brief session together about IP issues and protecting your ideas, so that even as you get ready to move your ideas to the next level, you may now need to understand how you will protect your ideas for the next session. Karibu Kakangu.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon once more. Yeah, my name is Engineer KUGLi as inputs. I will not have I had a presentation, but because I've only been given 5 minutes, so I'll try as much as possible to squeeze what I have. And basically, I'm here just to mention on IP issues, intellectual property. Anyone of you who has heard of intellectual property before? Wow, at least you have a number, that's good. So this is an important aspect for innovators so that you can be able to leverage on the market. A number of presenters have mentioned a few elements that entails intellectual property. And one of the things you have been told is that you have to think of the market first. When you think of the market, then it means, as Prof put it, is that you have identified a problem. And when you identify the problem, then you have to leverage on that market. And the best way to leverage on the market is to have an IP. So intellectual property basically is the creation of the mind, the ideas you have, the innovations that you're coming up with, better put, the inventions that you have and the creative works that you are developing. So I just want to give you a broad aspect of it. Intellectual property is divided into two major categories. During the scramble of Africa in around 1880, major or the states that were colonizing, they decided that they have to sign treaties so that when new things and ideas are coming up, they are protected and they are given ownership. So there is a Paris Convention that was done in 1880 that defines what we call the industrial property. So the industrial property is divided into 4 categories. We have a patent, we have a trademark, we have industrial design and utility model, both of which are protected in Kenya Industrial Property Institute. So our institute, or rather the Kenyan Institute of Protection of Industrial Property Rights, was formed by an act of parliament in 2000. So if you have a technical invention, then you can protect it as a patent. If you have a trademark, a name, a slogan, those terms, acronyms that you put them together, then they qualify for a trademark protection. And then if you have, software, source codes, and all that entails that, then that can be protected under copyright, and we get the right through Kenya Copyright Board. Always know that your IP is your license, is your insurance of your invention. Like if you don't have an IP, it becomes very difficult for you to negotiate. So as an inventor or an entrepreneur, the first thing you have to think of is your IP check. There's a study that was done, and one of the biggest problems with why entrepreneurs fail is because they are not able to, one, which was about 43%, is that market identification. And for you to do a proper market identification, the first thing that comes on the list is on intellectual property checks. So for today, I just want to put that to you so that it can be, one of the things that you have to consider, so that as you move forward, as you gear into the world of innovation, it becomes a way or a proper mechanism for you to leverage in the market. I know I've been very fast, and okay, we have other rights which I will share and put close to you, but because I was given only 5 minutes and I like it in time, I think I've spent like 4 minutes. So if there's any question, I can quickly address so that the next presenter will come forward. Have I been too fast? And just one quick example. The other day, Willis Raburu, he went and protected his trademark called Bazoo. Then Airtel ran into their promotions with the name Bazoo. So Willis Raburu, together the legal team, they ran to the locals and they sued Airtel. Then what happened is that the judges ruled in favor of Willis Raburu, and that he was given 6.5 million. I mean, who does not know about Bazoo even before Airtel was doing the promotion? But because the guy knew and understood about intellectual property, took advantage of that and protected. I have had a number of inventors who come to me when they have already lost their inventions to the market. Remember, as an entrepreneur and a startup, the other thing that you lack mainly, and it's already been put forth, is your funding. You don't have enough funds. So when you lose seeking protection prior to running into the market, then it becomes a very, very difficult process to litigate and acquire back your invention or get what the compensation that comes forth for that. So I think I'll stop at that. There are no. Oh yes, we can just share it. I'm not getting it to give you the mind.
You see, when you're in school, you are not able to enough money to do the patent. So you go to the school to help you do the patent. But the school, yes, will help you do the patent, but doesn't really help you well, but they really take a percentage of what you have. Maybe you can explain that, because there's a need, it takes maybe 10%, it depends on different universities.
Okay, that's a good question. I'll answer it in a very fast way. Each university has its own intellectual property policy, which defines who owns the invention and what are the shares and the royalties percentage as part of the inventor and for the university and ownership. So the owner and the inventor, each of you has a role to play. We are currently working on the National Intellectual Property Policy and I'm part of the consultants, and we have support from the World Intellectual Property Organization, which will define some of these aspects, because most of the universities do not have the IP policy that defines that. But a good example is like JQuat. JQuat has an intellectual property policy, the second generation, which defines generation protection, and commercialization. Those three key things have to be in the IP policy. So the commercialization aspect gives the the percentages that come. So for equals, 40% to the inventor and 60% to the university. So the 40% is purely on royalties, and 60% again also from the royalties goes back to the university. But what the university does is that it ensures it takes care of any litigation that comes from protection and management of your IP, seeking collaborators and partners. When you do the business model canvas, I know you've been taking through that. One of the key things is that you have to know who are your collaborators. As an entrepreneur, you may have challenges in reaching out, but when you use the university name, then it becomes very easy for you actually to reach some of the partners and the collaborators who can support your innovation to another level. So basically, the owner and the inventor have the roles and functions that they do take. And globally, if you look at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Harvard, you look at the percentages, they are almost the same, 40-60. Which I think for me is a good deal. A number of inventors come and say, oh, the university is take 40%, 60%, and I'm glad you came up with the idea. But when you tell you now, you go ahead and work on your invention and all that, it becomes a little bit difficult. But if you don't want to work with the university, then you can seek independent IP agents who can help you on filing the intellectual property. Then look for consultant, and you have been informed about having co-founders, people who have different strengths. If it's a community worker or a social worker, they will go out and help you, reach out. If you have one of your founders or you co-opt a founder who can help you in communication, then it becomes a little bit easier for you to, scale up your invention and make money from it. Yes. Any other question? Oh, wonderful. I hope I have done justice to that little time I'm given. Okay, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Kaka KUGLi. Another round of applause for KUGLi. Thank you so much. So this is the order in which we are going to have our pitches shortly after one last presentation. So just get ready. I'm saying this so that you get ready, you know the flow. You're going to have Maikura. Are you there, Maikura? Anybody from Maikura? Yes. Then after Maikura, we have Chap Chap deliveries. Yeah, I can see you're really Chap Chap. Food share. Where is food share? Yes. Oh, there's food to be shared. Thank God. Pioneers. Where are pioneers? Yes. And Linda Nchi. Nchi yetu ilindwe vizuri. Mavuno Initiative. Mavuno. Then we have Shajim Bookkeeping Services. Thank you. Taswira Halisi. Thank you. PED. Thank you. Graphene oxide. Thank you. Smart granary. All right. So just get ready. We are going to go in that order. So allow me to welcome our next presenter, Lina, who will take us to the next session. Meanwhile, I also want to let you know that Professor Bruce has joined us and is with us. So, Prof, we kindly ask you to relax and enjoy as we continue. As soon as our pitches are done, we'll give you an opportunity to make a comment all the way from Syracuse. So keep tuning in. We are together.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. So I want to talk about creating a stream as a catalyst for trade. This conversation started with Dr. Churchill like 4 weeks ago, or 3 weeks, or how many weeks? 5, maybe. And I want to share, so kindly follow my story. As I said, I am a communicator, so I share stories. So, mimi ni hadithi njo. You don't know that song? Okay, sorry. Okay. So I'll start. So I have always been intrigued with history, whether learning about the great pyramids of Giza, the Hanging Gardens in Babylon, or the great Vikings who occupied Greenland. There is something meaningful that always occurs when you know history. Robert Haley stated, "A generation which ignores history has no past and has no future." Umesikia? We are all gathered here, tumekusanyika hapa, to discuss being empowered in the space of entrepreneurship and innovation. And in light of the above subjects, I would love to share on creating as a catalyst for trade. As I share, I want us to know why Africa needs to create streams for trade, especially in this digital era, and effectively use them to generate the much needed socioeconomic changes that we desire. So I want you to note trade, catalysts, and stream. Say trade, catalyst, stream. So trade is defined as an action of buying and selling goods and services. Trade occurs when two parties take part in buying and selling of goods. Hence, a market is required for trade to effectively happen. It's important to note that trade among countries globally happens through exchange of surplus resources that one country produces to gain resources that another country has. So that's how trade functions. So how long have we been trading? For the last 9,000 years, we have been trading. Where did trade start? Trade started in ancient Egypt. Who are the pioneers of trade? So the farmers in Egypt who are doing produce farming and those who are doing rearing of animals decided, we rear animals, you do farming, so let us be doing the exchange. We don't need to get into all of us doing the same thing in order to gain what we want. What is a catalyst? A catalyst in chemistry is a substance that affects, promotes, accelerates reactions between or has been the key parts in civilization. So, how many know about civilizations? Do you know about civilizations? Some of you watch Sparta, so you must know about civilizations. So in great civilizations have had trade as their backbone. So in Mesopotamia, there was the invention of the cuneiform type of writing during the Ubadi and Uk period. So this assisted merchants to communicate with foreign traders. If Mesopotamia didn't have that, they would not be able to communicate as different trading routes. Then we had the great Greek civilization, all hail Alexander the Great. With the Greeks, they had this big population that was growing in their civilization. So they had to get food to the Greek Empire. So a great maritime economy was established, what we now call the blue economy in our country. Then in the Roman civilization, trade
trade was used to create banking systems. The banking systems we're enjoying now are as a result of the Roman civilization. Why? Because merchants needed to do business. Some of them did not have enough money to transport their merchant goods from one port to another. So they regulated it by creating loans. So as merchants, a merchant, you can get a loan to facilitate you transporting your merchant goods from this port to another port, and then you pay once you go sell your goods and get what your market through. So do you understand the loaning system that we now have out of the Roman civilization? So with that, I hope you can see trade and categories and you can understand streams. So before Africa was colonized, Africa also engaged in trade. So trade is not something that Africa got because we got colonized. Trade was there. And some of the greatest stories under trade in Africa is the story of Mansa Musa. Who has heard of the name Mansa Musa? Yay, thank you, historians in the house. So Mansa Musa became famous because he went to Egypt. He was traveling from Mali and he was going to Egypt. And when he went to Egypt, he had so much gold with him that every official, you see, like our cabinet secretaries, our governors, our MCAs, our MPs, our women reps, you name them. How many are there in total? Yeah, plus the other Mheshimiwa, as you know. So Mansa Musa had so much gold that he gave every one of these titled people in Egypt at that time, who are called amirs. He gave them gold, to the point that there was so much gold in Egypt that the price of gold went down. Like everyone could all of a sudden afford gold in their pockets. And because of what Mansa Musa did, that's why people started discovering the Mali Empire. You heard about the empire and the great state of Timbuktu. Timbuktu came to be because of Mansa Musa. People wanted to know, where the gold at? Who are these people keeping gold until gold looks like it's being dished out everywhere? So, because of Mansa Musa's story, the dealer traders of the Mali Empire became like a thing in the trans-Saharan trade. So trans-Saharan trade was big. And then apart from that, we had the Soinke in Ghana, who were great for cattle trade, and they traded in leather products. Then we had the Sahel as a basket, a food basket in Africa, producing cereals, fish, and colonnades. And by the time the Portuguese were coming to the shores of the Western Africa, they started taking these things back to Europe. And then we have the Mwenentaba Empire. And Mwenentaba was famous for agriculture as an economy. And we have the Khoisan, who were hunters and gatherers, who would buy iron and copper from the Botswana people. So trade was happening in Africa. Then terrain, here comes the colonials, and we get colonized. So great man Otto von Bismarck decides that it is time for the scramble and petition of Africa. We need to figure out how we are going to deal with these resources. And you need to know partly why Africa was colonized and why the scramble had to happen was because of trade. It's sustaining the economies of our colonizers that led to the partitioning of Africa, because Africa had the resources that the mother colonies needed in order to facilitate their industries. Okay. So colonial period comes, then we are divided into settler economies. So settler economy is when a corporate comes build an industry in your country, but they build with their own background. It's not about what you want, it's about what they want. Then there is the concessionary economy, where someone gets consent in order to run a particular industry within your country from the government, and they are non-governmental organizations. Then there's mining and peasants. So mining and peasants, you will come to Tachimba Migodi, we will come and create quarries and excavate in your area, but we use your locals to do so, and we pay them peanuts for what they're doing. Then we'll get your diamonds and your cobalt, and we'll go refine them, bring them back and sell it to you at a higher. So we've seen that trade was happening in Africa. Now, one thing you need to understand is you cannot separate trade and water. And you cannot separate what? And that's why we need catalysts or streams for trade. You cannot separate water bodies when it comes to trade. Why am I saying so? So right now, because one of the greatest things that happened in trade was the shipping industry. It became major and big. So with ships, people could transfer their goods from one part of the world to another. Sawa. That's why we have the great Fort Jesus. The reason that fort exists is because the Portuguese needed a place where they could, secure the territories of the Indian Ocean and the harbors there because of the trade that was happening between the Asian frontier and the African frontier and Europe. So right now, as we speak, we have the Great English Channel. So this is a water, it's a water pathway. And the Great English Channel is found in the UK. It is the busiest shipping line in the world with more than 500 vessels using it in a single day. They pass those waters in 170 harbors. Then we have the Malacca Strait. So the Malacca Strait is between Sumatra Island and Indonesia, where 94,000 ships yearly pass. It's the one that allows us to have a link with the Asian market. Then we have the Hormuz Strait between Iran and Oman. Here, it's where the oil barrels, 21 million barrels of oil pass every single year as a route from the Middle East for oil. Then we have the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal acts as the line between Africa and Asia, with 20 vessels passing its harbor every year. Then we have the Panama Canal, so the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So the North Hemisphere, the Americas basically, and the Southern Americas, with 2,000 ports, and it connects more than 170 countries. Those are water bodies and streams that connect trade physically. Okay? Without them, trade will be impossible. All these goods that come to our harbor and we hear this gigantic ship has landed at the port in Mombasa is because there are such channels that have been created. So currently, as we speak, we have gone through 4 major industrial revolutions. Do you know that? You have gone through 4 major industrial revolutions. So in the first industrial revolution, which happened in the 18th and 19th century, we had mechanization. So that's where steam engines replaced horses and people. Then we had the second industrial revolution in the late 1800s, leading to the First War. Here, there was introduction of steel, electricity, and combustion engines. This is when we started having the trains, like the trains became like a thing, yeah? And then we had the third industrial revolution. Now, the third industrial revolution brought about automation and globalization. What does that mean? So in the 1980s, with the introduction of computers and digitization and internet as the poster child, we started leaning more on IT and the computer systems, and digitization. Then on the fourth industrial revolution, we now started it in the 21st century. And that's where data, AI, robotics, blockchain, crypto, cloud, automation, augmented realities, and virtual realities began with the 21st century. Now, the internet has created a new ocean. I told you water bodies are important in trade. And a stream leads to a river streams to an ocean. So the internet is now the new ocean. And there is the emergence of new shipping routes globally, if you haven't known. And artificial intelligence is now becoming the guest at our dinner tables, that whether we invite willingly or we don't, they will show up. Have you had those neighbors who know that you're cooking chicken and they are at your doorstep and they know you're in the house, so you cannot not answer the door? Now, artificial intelligence is that neighbor that's here and it's knocking, and whether you let it in or not, it will still sit at your table and it will eat what's at your table. So, AI creates the room for us to be more industrious. And it happens to be an advantage to us as Africans in this season because it will allow us to infiltrate territories through the internet space, through the ocean of the internet, and create trading channels that will deal with our peasantry economy and systems that we currently have out of colonization. So according to the United Nations, so I'm finishing up with the facts, it says, by 2050, Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion by 2050, and it will make 25% of the world's population. As a result, Africa will be the largest source of growth globally. Also important to note is we are in the 5th industrial revolution. The 4th has ended. When did it end? It ended with the start of 2020. COVID was a sign that a new industrial revolution is here with us. So in the 5th industrial revolution, there will be innovation with purpose and inclusion as the backbone of the 5th industrial revolution, which is as a result of deep multiple level cooperation of people and machines. So AI needs people, people need AI. This is by Pranjal Sharma in the book Next New Navigating the 5th Industrial Revolution. So the reason why entrepreneurs are needed is because we need innovation, and we need purpose with the innovation, and we need inclusivity with the innovation. So Africa is set to become the largest source of growth globally. And as we have announced, trade drives economies and economies drive growth. If we are to start the 5th industrial revolution, which is powered by people and machines, then Africa will need to start generating powerful streams, powerful water bodies. The streams needed in this season in Africa are in education, finance, health, environment, which is energy and climate, and agriculture. And they have all been proven to be great economic accelerators globally. According to the Global Systems for Mobile Communications report released this year, AI is already being used to create applications, with majority falling in agriculture technology at 49%, climate technology at 26%, energy at 24%. But currently, Africa only holds 2.5% of the AI space globally. But with AI applications, it has been proven we have the capacity to boost Africa's economy growth by $2.9 trillion by 2030. What does that mean? Pre-colonial Africa proves that Africa has capacity to trade. With the use of AI streams in different African countries, we can create a massive river that flows to the internet ocean. Through the ship of entrepreneurship and innovation, hence, bypass the colonization and pre-colonization hurdles that African economies face. Ladies and gentlemen, I have got to the end of my story. I have told you where we have been in civilization, pre-colonial civilization, the place of trade, why we need streams, how water bodies affect us. So I finish by saying, if Africa can make the world do their Zonto, if we can embrace Hakuna Matata, then we can truly become a Wakanda forever when you use AI to create formidable streams in trade and propel Africa's population in the 5th industrial revolution as an economic giant.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Lina for that awesome presentation. Thank you so much, Lina. I'd like to again encourage Professor Bruce to keep watching and listening in, because now we have our pitches coming in, and we want him to give us his thoughts after the pitches have been presented. So, Maikura, where are you? Kura yangu. Yes, I hope you are ready and set. So you are going to be the first to present. Brother Nyakundi will let us know the rules of the game. So I'll ask him to come, and then he will let us know the rules of the game. Our judges will be seated in front to my extreme right hand side. So if you are judge and probably you are behind, you can move to the front row on my right hand side. Thank you so much, ndugu Nyakundi, karibu sana. Some encouragement for Nyakundi as he comes. Some encouragement.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anthony. Are we ready to pitch? Are we ready to pitch? So I'd like us to do a short exercise, okay? When I say one, take your right hand and do this. One, take your right hand. Make sure you have a neighbor sitting next to you. One. When I say two, take your left hand and place on your neighbor's one. So maintain your one, two. Great. Good students, you're awake. Amazing. So when I say three, no, maintain your one and your two. Maintain your one and your two. Make sure your two, umekelea mkono yako your left to your neighbor's one. Gentlemen in checked shirt, white and blue checked shirt, please place your number two on her hand. Thank you. When I say three, you're supposed to grab your neighbor's one, but make sure your number one is not grabbed. Sawa. Aya, three. That was a try. You're going to do it again. The ones who are called will come and dance for us Mulongo in front here. Sawa. DJ, are we ready with some Luya music? Thank you. Higher. Everybody, number one. Okay, put your hands down. Thank you. Number one. Number two. If I say one, if I go back to one, you drop your number two. One, drop number two. One, two. No, that's number two. Okay, drop your number two. Let's go back to one, two, three. If you captured your neighbor's hand, raise your hand. Raise their hand. So we want them to dance. We want them to dance some Mulongo for us here to entertain us. Okay, last time. Make sure you're not caught. All right, everybody. So I'm going to do it in the form of a story now. If I say one or anything that denotes the number one, you raise your hand, your right hand as number one. So if I say one, once, you raise your number one. If I say two or second, twice, anything that denotes the number two, you raise your number two. If I say three eyes, third, you grab your neighbor's number one, make sure your number one is not grabbed. Sawa. All right, once upon a time in Bungoma County, where are we? Bungoma County. Okay, once upon a time in Bungoma County, students at Kibabi University organized a very engaging entrepreneurial conference. One of the many conferences, of course, that they organized. And on the second day of the conference, we had great speakers, professors from the institution. And one of the things that was encouraged and that was done by the guest speaker, Dr. Drew, was tree planting. You guys, three. That is what we all feel. Can you clap for yourself? Appreciate yourself. Thank you very much. So we're going to the most important part of the afternoon program, and that is the pitching that we all supposed to do. You will each have 3 minutes. Say with me, 3 minutes. So you'll have 3 minutes for pitching and 3 minutes Q&A. The timer will be shared with us. Who will be the timekeeper? So we'll organize and share with you who the timekeeper will be. There will be 6 areas that the judges will be looking at, and that is expertise. Make sure you're able to demonstrate knowledge of the market and industry. Market opportunity, make sure you're able to share what your target market is. All right. Make sure that the solution, this is item number 3, aligns with market need. Number 4, clarity in your business model and if it is sustainable. Number 5, what is your competitive advantage? And lastly, would love to see some teamwork on stage and general presentation. Are you ready now to pitch? I'd also like to take this time to invite our judges to the front seats. So when I mention your name, please raise your hand. Of course, from Cyprus University, we have Tracy joining us. Let's appreciate her as she joins the judges. Thank you. We also have Lina, who has given us a powerful presentation today. Let's appreciate Lina. We also have Elizabeth, who spoke to us earlier. Let's appreciate Elizabeth. Please join the judges at the front. And we also have Faith, one of the co-founders joining us today. Where is Faith? Let's appreciate her as she comes. Come on, let's appreciate Faith. Thank you so much. And lastly, we have yours truly. Startups, please get ready. Dr. Anthony will help us introduce the startups on stage, or Maurice. Okay, so Dr. Anthony will help us introduce startups on stage, and he will also help us identifying the timekeeper and all that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's celebrate our own Mr. Nyakundi for a good job done. I mean, let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. Thank you so much, Kaka Nyakundi. So just like we said as we were starting, we will actually give Maikura the first opportunity. And I'd like the Maikura team to be coming as I welcome them. You are very privileged to have the opportunity to be the first of this beautiful session. I want to welcome you, and initially I want to wish, as the teams come, I want to wish every team the very best. Do your best. If you can outshine your best, that would be the best for today. Outshine your very best. Karibu sana. You have your 3 minutes. Maurice Mugambi, you should stand. Maurice Mugambi is our timekeeper. 3 minutes of presentation.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah. So after that's the last.
Okay, our secretary, do you have their presentation ready? So that we don't eat any of their minutes in getting their presentation. So as, yes, my Kura. Right? So on stage is Nicholas Mugambi, ready to present you, ladies and gentlemen, great ideas from Maikura, and our count begins right now.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of us. I'm Nicholas Mugambi, founder and CTO of Maikura, and also founder and CEO founder. But today we're talking about Maikura. Thank you. I want to do this a little bit different. I want to try the Elon style. So I want to jump into some imagination. I want you to imagine a world where elections aren't rigged. Are we together? A time where we are happy to vote in our leaders in power. An election characterized by peace and harmony. I'm happy to see Peace and Unity International on the stage. So Yeah, democracy worldwide is under threat or maybe under siege. Allow me to quote Vice President Kamala, the US current presidential candidate, and I go, I actually held a demonstration for my colleagues here in the Capitol, where I brought in folks who before our eyes act election machines, those that are used in many states, but are not of state of the art from our perspective, end of quote. She said this in 2018. Let me bring you back to our motherland, Kenya. We can all remember the occurrences during our 2007 post-election violence, which went to 2008. I wouldn't have to describe it. Dark memories in our minds. We had a lot of post-violence election violence, a lot of killings, all because of election interference. Allow me to quote again Senator Rob Wyden. 43% of American voters use voting machines which researchers have found serious security flaws, including backdoors. He goes ahead and says, meaning there is no way to prove the numbers the voting machines put out are legitimate. So much for cybersecurity 101. So guys, as you have noticed, this is a matter of urgency. We need real innovation in the democracy space because, as you all are aware, democracy is under siege. Join me in trying to uproot the democracy to uproot the compromise of democracy. I didn't see them. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we appreciate him? Judges, you have 3 minutes to ask questions. I'll perhaps begin with the first question. What exactly is your business? What is your product?
Thank you. My product is a remote election management and voting system that will allow you to vote from the comfort of your zone. That is, either you have internet or not, that is relying on the USSD technology. And if you have internet using our web platform, and if you would allow me, we have the demo up and ready. If you allow me to mention the code is *483 *1212 hash, you can check out our solution that we are producing. And our demo web platform, test.myvotemykula.co.ke. If the slide could go to the last bit, well related, those links. You can actually try mainly the USSD. We are in the process of testing it, so you will be of great assistance to us as we are trying to prove that you can actually have elections that are secure, elections that are not rigged. Thank you.
It's now that I've known your project. What is your business model? How do you intend to make from that?
Thank you for that question. So currently, our customer base ranges from circles, student unions, that is in the university. And if you allow me, I will mention that we have worked with the Jomo Kenyatta Student Union, that is the JKUSA. We did that as our first proof of concept. We used them in the university-wide negotiations and elections. This was the first time for them to actually try such a system. So that's among our clients. That's our business model. We're trying to sell them a service where they can digitize the electoral process. And also, if you allow me to mention the budget for JKUAT to hold a students' union election is 10 million. So I'm talking about slashing that budget to around 3 million with our premium model of the solution.
So, kindly help us understand, the security measures for the system that will, make us very, very sure that, dead people will not rise up in court or the USSC.
Allow me to also mention, I'm a software engineer. I'm actually the one behind the USSD version of the platform.
Thank you so much. Can we appreciate Mike Bradley?
Thanks so much, my Kura. I hope next time I vote, I will not have to go and say back here. Thank you so much. Next on stage is Chap Chap. And the presenter is Roger Sutieno. So Chap Chap, if you could be actually Chap Chap on the stage, a round of applause as we welcome them to the stage. You are really Chap Chap. Karibuni sana. So welcome. So this is a team of two handsome gentlemen and one beautiful lady that we have decided to sandwich between them. A lot of confidence is going to arise out of that. Ladies and gentlemen, your time begins now.
Hello, esteemed business leaders and stakeholders. We are thrilled to present to you Chap Chap Deliveries, a dynamic and innovation delivery company that is going to revolutionize customer satisfaction. The pioneers of the business are Francis Opondo, Winnie Maura, and I, Roger Sutieno, from Great Lakes University of Kisumu, Kisumu County. In today's fast-paced and competitive business landscape, reliability and efficiency in product delivery plays a crucial role in shaping customers' experiences and driving brand loyalties. Customer delivery, Chap Chap Delivery is here to offer comprehensive solutions that not only meet but exceed your by addressing economic challenges, which include insecurity faced by community, access to goods and services, employment opportunities, efficiency in cost saving, financial inclusion, and environmental impact. Our targeted clients are university students, busy professionals, elderly or disabled individuals, individuals in remote areas, individuals with health conditions, and businesses. The services and goods we offer, of course, the service is the delivery service. Goods may be laptops, earphones, headphones, KFC products, detergents, and any other material available in our website, WhatsApp groups, or Facebook page. How the business operates. Individuals browse into our website or Facebook page, they make orders, we confirm we track the orders, we confirm that we have received their orders as we estimate the time which they will receive their products. Our partners include electronic shops, wholesalers of the above mentioned products, and of course, Google does GPS for direction purposes. The current funding is through the individual's contribution, we contribute, and of course, the profits from the delivered products we have started delivering to our institution. As a project, we aim to address both short-term impact and long-term impact. Our short-term impact include immediate customer satisfaction, job creation, competitive advantage, community engagement, and increased market share. Long-term impacts include economic growth, customer convenience, environmental sustainability, technological advancement, and employment opportunities. As a project, we have measures to put so that we can sustain our business. Measures include collaboration with the partners, continuous improvement and innovation, training and development, quality, and measures control. And the question you will have for us today is, does our business serves a broader population and how?
Thank you so much, judges, and time for Q&A. My first question for the team, would be, could you tell us a bit of your traction? You've mentioned that you've been in existence. How are the numbers looking like in terms of your traction?
So in terms of traction, when the customer has already placed his orders or order in the website, we normally go to our dashboard to confirm if there is availability of the products, to track the location that the customer has said that he want to receive his or her order. Thank you. To the website.
Just to add on that, we also have our partners, let's say delivery personnel, those who are helping us to deliver our products. We have them on the ground, especially the communities. This really seems like global, yeah? And junior, and so what makes yours different?
Okay, what makes us different from maybe global is that, for example, global, you can find them that they don't accept cut-to-hand payment upon delivery. That's talking about financial inclusion. But us, we have financial inclusion. Like we are, if you don't accept financial inclusion, like you will be leaving others out. For example, those who cannot access M-Pesa or maybe use phone. But we are unique inside that we accept delivery like cash on hand payment.
Maybe to add on that, we also support the local businesses. Like in the community, when we do a delivery to you, we will ask you, do you have some other products that you will need us to sell for you or market for you? Like this is an affiliate marketing. We sell other people's products. So instead of just being our customer, we want to support also your products and your local business. Thank you.
We also do free delivery. We don't charge as compared to Jumia, Glovo, or any other one. Also, we have our product. We make local products like detergents that is not delivered by those Glovo or whatever.
We thank you so much. We appreciate you are blessed as a very son. We want to welcome next on stage Food Share Plus, which is a group of very brilliant and amazing team that will talk to us about issues food. You know, we already declared this county a food-friendly zone. So this is a very key idea to us as a county. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? You have any check if you are ready. All right, so for all the rest, we'll be coming to pitch. Once, as you continue, keep your eye on the timer there. He will keep showing you great surprises, but please don't be surprised. That gentleman. So this one will be the last. So you don't need anyone for 3 minutes. Okay, so you just songe hapa when you come, ukija hapa karibu, songa tena when you come, karibu sana. Now every team has bright gentlemen and a wonderful lady sandwiched between. It's going to work. So are you ready? All right. Good to have strong men. This is how strong we are in Africa. Okay. Oh yeah, so you can stand centrally here. You wish to have the lady in between? Yes. Exactly. All right. Are you ready now? So ladies and gentlemen, with the timer listening to me, the time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. So Africa is a beautiful continent which faces the challenges of food, hunger, and wastage. So we as Food Share, we are targeting to solve this problem in alignment with the SDG 2.0 hunger, where we aim to target beneficiaries such as refugees, people in war zones, and children with disabilities, chronic illnesses, and those living in slums. So as Food Share, the description of our business is we aim to come up with a product that we call the Food Share app, and this product helps to solve this challenge by food redistribution rather than focusing on production, which is what most people in the food industry do. So our features are blockchain, multi-language support, feedback and rating system, and user education and training. Because of the many challenges that occur due to corruption, our main feature being blockchain aims to curb this challenge of corruption to ensure that our process is one that is without such issues. So our business structure, so for our partners, we want to have governments on board, non-profit organizations that deal with social impacts, surplus food providers, educational institutions, and the many that we see over there. And next slide, please. So the impacts that we aim to have is to reduce food wastage as well as hunger, and at the same time, the long-term goal is to provide positive environmental impacts through reduced carbon footprints as well as improving economic efficiency and enhanced community well-being through nutrition. Next slide. The measures that we aim to put in place to ensure business that can be sustained is ensuring that we have a comprehensive financial plan as well as using the resources to the best of our ability and minimize costs, as well as maintaining customer satisfaction, integrating feedback, and adopting sustainable practices. For the business to be scaled up, we have several things that we aim to put in place. That is having a modular and flexible business model, using scalable technology and different platforms.
Thank you so much. First question. Are you able to demonstrate how the app works? Do you have a link? Anything that we can see?
We do have one, but we haven't shared it. Maybe we can share it. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'm the CEO at Future. I can take you to the we have 3 users within the platform: the donor, the recipient, and farmers. So for the donor, they get into the platform. For the recipients, this is like community investment, let's say, children's home. So the platform food that they need, just like children. So the food will be reset on products like so they can the third one is the farmer, whereby the farmer can get to the platform, donate the food, the field and produce that is increased of getting the 17 their pass.
So how exactly do you mean to make the profit out of your business? So how we are going to make profit? We aim to bring partners on board, such as, let's say, supermarkets, those that have products in food form, and when we are able to help them get rid of their surplus, we want to help them like scale up their businesses through advertisement, and that they're going to pay us for doing such things for them. Also, we are going to be featuring advertisements on our platform, the way platforms such as YouTube and Google do, because we know that for a fact we are going to be a big platform and many people will want to work with us.
How will you identify genuine recipients?
So we are going to be working with organizations and not just individuals. You see, the way I had said before that we will be dealing with like refugees, children in the slums. So we are going to go to like the refugee boards, and those will be like our recipients. Now, we're not going to go to individuals, rather groups that manages those groups of people that will be like that.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for them. Good plus, good share plus. Thank you so much. Next is Uzima Nexus. We want to know what is the nexus between Uzima and the nexus itself. So where is Uzima Nexus? Uzima. Uzima tena. And the nexus is that hakuna Uzima. All right, we'll move to pioneers. Pioneers, come to the floor. All right, a round of applause for pioneers as they come. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, pioneers, they have now changed the order. We have been having two gentlemen sandwiching a lady now. These ones have decided they are not going to sandwich anybody. Your time begins now.
All protocols observed. Good afternoon. My name is Morgan Ulo, and before you, we have a team of pioneers. Our project actually seeks to come up with a solution, and this solution is actually coming up with a strategy that will spearhead the complete evolution of teenage pregnancy, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa and global entirely. The target people that we are actually targeting in this market include teenagers, boys and girls, also parents, for the parents to this teenage, and also we have the teachers this. And the solution actually includes distribution of banners, posters, as we have a sample. If my colleague can actually distribute. As actually they are being distributed. Declaring to the project, we actually, I'm a journalist student. So this means that we are actually more inclined to know the problem by actually conducting researches that we conducted since February. And also in our team, we have so that's actually what you are going to use the package. And then the competitive advantage that we have. I'm a journalist student, so we go to the field to actually get this 6%. And then among our team, there's also a communication student who will actually be doing the public talking. So that is what actually we want to do. This is an ability of a project. Actually, are going to distribute this magazine that actually in front of you. And the purpose of this magazine actually to educate the public on our endeavors, what you've actually achieved in a month, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. So actually, this magazine will be distributed every month. So it's actually a monthly magazine. And as you can see, there is the topics actually that we shall be focusing on. And for that sustainability now, actually we are going to lend a space for health purposes. For example, if a hospital has an article to actually educate the public, we are going also to sell that space to that hospital.
Thank you so much. I just want to know, did you guys have slides?
Yes, we do have slides.
Okay. My other question is, I see your project is very humanitarian in nature, which is good to see. How will you fund your operations and the point of environmental friendly if you're sharing posters, let's say, a lot in Kabuchai, I've had that word a lot today. How do you ensure that, the littering, will we find it? Will we find your poster on the streets? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that question. Number one, actually, how we are going to fund ourselves. Money starts in the team. We are actually contributing 20 shillings every week. So that means that at a small scale, we have that base. And then, actually, how we are going to make that money from the magazine, if they can only just slide to the sustainability page, we're actually going to see